1. Major testimony against Machar. Major Peter Manuel Deng, an SSBDF officer, testified in a special court that there was coordination between SPLAIO generals, the White Army militia, and local authorities ahead of the March 2025 attack on Nasir garrison. He submitted videos, administrative reports, and other documents showing military mobilization and planning among the evidence. A video of Lieutenant General James Koang Chul and Lieutenant General Johnson Olani addressing troops in Malakal. Another showing Colonel Torgile Thoen, White Army/SPLAIO, leading attacks. Manuel said there were previous attacks before March. White Army and SPLAIO allegedly killed SSBDF soldiers gathering firewood, returning from the market, and fishing. He claims Machar formed a 10-member committee, including militia, local chiefs, and SPLAIO, to facilitate movements, and that there was a high-level phone call agreeing on the attack. 2. Forensic and official evidence. Prosecutors presented an autopsy report and death certificate for Major General James Major Dak, who died in the Nasir attack. There is a military administrative report with many attachments, list of SSBDF martyrs, a presidential decree integrating a militia, Agwalek, into the army, weapons destroyed by the White Army, and more. Also submitted, a letter from Machar, dated March 1, 2025, allegedly forming the 10-member committee, a press statement from SPLMIO, a Joint Transitional Security Committee letter naming Colonel Torgile Thoen. The prosecution is relying on a digital forensic report done in South Africa, which included analysis of seized laptops and phones belonging to the accused. 3. Lead investigators' testimony. Major General Basilio Thomas Wani, the lead investigator, testified that Machar personally authorized mobilization teams made up of SPLAIO, White Army, and local chiefs to coordinate attacks. According to Wani, Machar failed to protect surrendered SSBDF soldiers after the garrison was overrun. There's an alleged letter from Machar instructing local commissioners in Nasir and Oolong to form safeguard teams that later carried out attacks. 4. Defense's position. Machar claims he has immunity from prosecution because he was, and is, first vice president. His legal team has challenged some of the submitted evidence, particularly around how it was obtained and authenticated. There are also procedural objections, for example, whether some government documents were admitted properly. 5. Wider concerns. The trial is raising fears that South Sudan could slide back into full-scale civil war. Human rights groups, e.g., Amnesty International, are calling for a public and transparent trial. There's also international concern about the stability of the 2018 peace deal between Machar and President Salva Kiir. Juba, November 21, 2025. The special court established by the SPLM-IG to address the Nasir incident held its 23rd session today at Freedom Hall. This politically motivated trial targets First Vice President Dr. Riek Machar Tini Durgan, Chairman and Commander-in-Chief of the SPLM/IO, along with 7 other senior movement detainees. The prosecution called its first witness, Major Peter Manuel Deng, legal advisor for the SSBDF. Major Deng presented several documents and videos as evidence. Major Deng submitted the SSBDF Investigation Committee report on the Nasir incident, alongside a letter from SSBDF Chief of Defense Forces, CDF, General Paul Nong Majok. This letter focused on the movement of SSBDF forces to Wekuridio, Nasir County, a decision that defied a previous Joint Defense Forces, JDB, resolution to replace SSBDF forces in the area with unified forces. The legal advisor also presented a presidential decree dated April 3, 2024, regarding the integration of General Johnson Olani's Agwalek militia into the SSBDF. This document explicitly authorized the integration of only 12 senior officers, not the entirety of the militia forces. Additional exhibits included a letter from Dr. Riek Machar, dated March 1, 2025, which authorized a team to receive and guide the SSBDF convoy to Wekuridio. Major Deng also submitted a press statement issued by SPLM-IO spokesperson Honorable Palmai Deng on April 25, 2025, titled, "The Withdrawal of Armed Youth from Nasir and Oolong in Upper Nile State." Major Deng introduced several video exhibits, some of which immediately drew scrutiny and counterclaims regarding their authenticity and relevance. Defense Minister accused of airlifting 10,000 weapons to fuel Upper Nile conflict. Reliable sources have confirmed that the Minister of Defense and Veterans Affairs, Honorable Kolthon Baylock, has reportedly dispatched nearly 10,000 assorted weapons and large quantities of ammunition to Bayliat County in Upper Nile State. According to the source, a military helicopter carrying the consignment took off from Jonglei yesterday and landed in Bayliat later that evening. The development has raised serious concerns, as it is alleged that the decision was made to intensify the ongoing tribal conflict between Nok Lual Yak and Jikini Nath communities. Residents of Oolong County reported shelling in several villages last night, believed to be linked to the newly delivered weapons. Background to the escalating conflict. The current tensions trace back to February 2025, when forces from Nok Lual Yak, known as Abushak, reportedly supported government units and Agwalek forces in operations that targeted civilians in Nasir. During this period, community members alleged threats to force Jikini Nath to adopt Dinka language under duress. Jikini communities refrained from retaliation at the time, focusing on relocating families and livestock to safety. In October, Nok Lual Yak forces allegedly attacked Doma Payam of Oolong County, leaving over 15 people dead and nearly 300 head of cattle raided. The government did not intervene, provide assistance, or issue any public condemnation following the incident. Last week, Jikini youth reportedly recovered their cattle without government support. This action was widely condemned by officials, raising concerns over inconsistent responses to the conflict. The latest accusations now suggest that instead of mediating, senior officials are arming one party, potentially escalating the violence further. Reports from Oolong County indicate that a military helicopter believed to have been deployed under instructions from the Minister of Defense and Veterans Affairs, Honorable Kolthon Baylock, has been spotted hovering over the area this afternoon. According to multiple local sources, the aircraft is allegedly part of an operation overseen by General Paul Nong, raising widespread concern among residents who fear a potential escalation of tensions. The development comes amid heightened friction between the Nok Lual Yak and Jikini communities, with some community members accusing government forces of siding with Nok Lual Yak following months of unrest. Authorities have not yet issued any official statement regarding the reported deployment. Residents and local leaders are calling for calm as the situation continues to unfold. Reliable sources from within the presidency reveal that during the highly anticipated one-on-one meeting between President Salva Kiir Mayardit and suspended First Vice President Dr. Riek Machar Tini, President Kiir reportedly urged Dr. Machar to accept a presidential pardon that would lead to the release of Machar and his detained team. However, according to the same sources, Dr. Riek Machar firmly rejected the offer, insisting that the ongoing legal proceedings must be allowed to continue to their conclusion in court. Dr. Machar is said to have told the president that everything will finish in court, signaling his determination to fight the charges legally rather than through political negotiation. The meeting, described as tense but calm, marks a significant moment in the unfolding political and judicial confrontation at the highest levels of South Sudan's leadership. A high-level delegation from the African Union, AU, has reportedly touched down in South Sudan today amid growing regional concern over the ongoing court proceedings against Dr. Riek Machar and 7 other accused officials. According to diplomatic sources, the AU team is in Juba to closely monitor the trial and to push the government of South Sudan to fully uphold and implement the 2018 Revitalized Peace Agreement, RERCSS. The arrival of the AU delegation is seen as a strong signal of mounting international pressure on the government to ensure transparent and fair judicial processes, non-politicization of legal cases, and renewed commitment to the peace roadmap. Officials within Juba describe the AU's intervention as urgent, coming at a time when tensions remain high and political uncertainty continues to grow. Several video exhibits were introduced during the session. One video was presented as a press conference by Honorable Gatwech Lampuch, whom the prosecution accuses of incitement. Another clip, introduced as footage of the White Army under the late Torgeil Thoen before and after the attack on the SSBDF garrison, was shown instead to feature new spiritual leader Machar Tut in Ayad County, Jonglei State. A separate video of the late Tor Geil, recorded after his appointment in March 2025, was admitted into evidence. The prosecution also presented a video of Generals James Koang Chul and Johnson Olani addressing their forces in Malakal in March 2025, followed by another clip showing the two generals speaking to the media in Bilfam about the Nasir incident. Presiding Judge Dr. James Alala Dang adjourned the proceedings to Monday, November 24th, when Major Dang is expected to conclude his evidence before undergoing cross-examination. The court also approved the prosecution's nominated interpreter after no objection from the defense. A video clip was presented, alleged to show meetings of the armed youth, known as the White Army, led by the late Tor Geil Thoen, held before and after the attack on the SSBDF garrison. However, the video submitted was footage of prominent neuter spiritual leader Machar Tut in Ayad County, Jonglei State. A separate video of Tor Geil, taken after his appointment in March 2025, was admitted. In this clip, Tor Geil stated verbatim that he was the new leader of the armed youth, which refutes the prosecution's claim that he was a member of the SPLAIO. In the same video, Mr. Geil demanded that unified forces, not troops from a single party, be deployed to Nasir, and accused the SSBDF of bombing civilians with gunships. A further video exhibit contained footage of Generals James Koang Chul and Johnson Olani addressing their forces in Malakal in March 2025, where General Olani promised imminent integration into the SSBDF. The last clip showed both generals speaking to the media in Bilfam concerning the Nasir incident. Presiding Judge Dr. James Alala Dang adjourned the hearing until Monday, November 24th, 2025. The witness is expected to conclude his evidence presentation and face cross-examination by the defense at the next session. The judges also approved the prosecution's nominated court interpreter, following no objection from the defense team. The SPLM/AIO maintains its rejection of the so-called special court, viewing it as a tool to undermine the revitalized agreement and pursue a political witch hunt against Dr. Riek Machar and the SPLM/AIO. The movement demands the immediate and unconditional release of Dr. Riek Machar and all SPLM/AIO detainees. The court has adjourned the highly anticipated session to November 24th, 2025, citing the circumstances presented during today's proceedings.